An injustice against one of us is against all of us, so people are just out here standing up for what's right.
Looking out of place in an American city, heavily armed units watched on, not at all comfortable identifying themselves.
They said the cop just got out the car and shoot him, just start shooting, hands up, don't shoot. There was a lot that was witnesses. That's why that cop didn't go down for that, because there was white and black witnesses that came out and said, no, this dude was out of control. That was a white witness. So, you know what the thing is when it comes about issues, let me break it down. In a white community, when a white man is shot,
Andrew, Antifa is absolutely behind the violence. In fact, as usual in these situations, Antifa and the far left are behind most of the violence. I mean, as you can tell, aside from anything else, from a lot of the footage that's coming out, you see them in their black bloc uniforms with their red and black flags and their masks. And also, if you look at, say, the aftermath of a lot of the protests, the Antifa tag is all over the place, of course, which is an A in a circle, so that they're very much tagging the places.
Massive outbreak of, what do you want to call it, protests? I call it rioting across the United States, and now there's solidarity riots going on in many, many countries over the world. So what I see when I look out here is exactly what a guy called Colonel Custer warned about when he wrote this paper in 2018, Unwriting the Future, Decoding the Next Strategic Shock, showing the way these gray zone exploits happen in fourth generation or asymmetric warfare. I want to read a few things. He says that in the gray zone, adversaries are executing strategies for which the defense establishment is not prepared conceptually, doctrinally, or materially. Gray zone competitions allow state and non-state actors to challenge U.S. interests with minimal risk of triggering a U.S. military response. The upward trend in gray zone competition indicates this is where we should be searching for an emergent strategic shock. On this page, Colonel Custer defines fourth generation warfare and what it might look like. Using low-tech means to contest high-tech forces, the desire of adversaries to collapse enemies from within, avoiding military might altogether and attacking enemy society at home, adversary use of democratic state freedoms against that state, direct attacks against a state's culture, a quote blurred distinction between war and peace, and reliance on non-national or transnational ideological support. Today, these characteristics are all too clear in the visage of terrorism and those nations exploiting the gray zone. And to me, they are very obvious in what's going on right now with the riots and even the pandemic. One is the protests and how they are bringing together sort of an all gray zone approach to using the protests to create chaos, and then from that chaos, who knows where they can push us. First of all, this is going to be a bit all over the place because there is an intermingling of elements in these stories that paint a picture of there being an ideologically bonded group who are using each other to attack all at once. It's a many-pronged attack.
Yeah, it's me. Yeah, I'm here. All right.
I've been entrusted with a lot of information. The more I know, the less I can say to you. But what I can tell you, the insiders are scared shitless. There is a sequence of events that will unfold that will first appear to be the most horrific economic crisis you have ever seen.
The sequence of events will be so terrifying, there will be absolute panic.
grip of your control is slipping. I didn't commit any crimes against the reserve. You have no right to hold me. You know I know, you sons of bitches!
Impressive.
I told you I'd be here.
How's your mom?
Hey, Mike, cut the shit. What do you need me for?
It's all in there. You can pick up your ticket at the airport. I'll see you on Tuesday.
What the fuck? This is crazy. This is crazy. Are you authorized to do this shit? You know I don't work for the government anymore, but for this kind of money, I'm in.
Tuesday.
I'm a soldier of the awakened mind, a revolutionary. What the hell are you accusing me of? I'm no terrorist.
Antifa is any group that's willing to stand up against fascists by any means necessary. By any means necessary, they say, can mean outing a white nationalist at their work or to their neighbors. Or, as we see recently, violence, fires, property damage, hand-to-hand combat, and protests across the country. Explain to me the reasoning behind fighting. You have to make it so
Then it says about the effects on the brain. Several small-scale studies involving 15 or fewer test subjects conducted in the 1950s and 1960s reported that adrenochrome triggered psychotic reactions such as thought disorder, realization, and euphoria. Researchers Abram Hoffer and adrenochrome is a chemical compound with a molecular formula C9H9NO3, produced by the oxidation of adrenaline. Then it says about the effects on the brain. Several small-scale studies involving 15 or fewer test subjects conducted in the 1950s and 1960s reported that adrenochrome triggered psychotic reactions.
The hallucinogenic state, like the dream state, is a temporary disconnect from the restrictions of body and time, and this awakens transcendence.